My name is Callie. After 15 years of silence, my estranged brother showed up on my doorstep with a smile. And a secret that could get us both killed. I thought he came back for forgiveness. I was wrong. He came with unfinished business, and now I'm the one holding the shotgun. Before we dive into this gripping tale of betrayal and buried secrets, make sure to like this video, hit subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a story that keeps you on the edge of your seat, and stick around, because what starts with a knock at the door ends with a shotgun and a broken bloodline. Welcome back to the story. It was just past 8 p.m. when I heard the knock. Steady. 3 sharp raps. The kind that didn't belong to a neighbor or a kid selling raffle tickets. No one came by this late unless it was an emergency, or trouble. I wiped my hands on a dish towel, still tasting the cayenne from the gumbo I'd been stirring. The porch light flickered when I flipped the switch, casting long shadows through the screen door. And there he was, Trey, my brother, 15 years gone, just standing there like he'd never vanished. Same crooked grin. Same lazy posture like the world owed him something. But something in his eyes had changed, colder, sharper. Like time had chiseled away every soft thing inside him. "Hey, Cal," he said. Like we were still teenagers in the backyard. Skinning catfish and arguing over who got the last glass of Mama's sweet tea. I didn't answer at first. My fingers curled around the doorframe, heart beating so hard I thought he might hear it. I'd buried Trey the day after Mama's funeral. Not in the ground, but in my mind, sealed shut like a tomb. He'd run off with Daddy's truck, left me alone with the hospital bills and the weight of everything he didn't want to carry. I was 19. He was 22. And he never looked back, but now, here he was. "What are you doing here?" I asked, voice low. "Just passing through," he said, flashing that smile that used to get him out of detention and into hearts. Figured I'd see my little sister. I should have slammed the door, but I didn't. I stepped aside. He smelled like motel soap and road dust. Carried nothing but a worn duffel and a dented thermos he kept holding like it was worth something. We sat in the kitchen, the silence stretching between us like barbed wire. "You look good," he said, sipping the coffee I made out of habit, not hospitality. "You look like hell," I replied. He laughed. Fair. I watched him closely. Every twitch, every pause. He had a habit of drumming his fingers when he was nervous. He was doing it now, tapping the side of the mug like he was waiting for something. Or someone. "You didn't come here just to say hi." He didn't answer right away. Just looked down, then out the window. "No," he said finally. "I came back because there's things you don't know, Cal, things Mama never told you. Things I couldn't say back then." I froze. "Don't bring Mama into this." But he leaned forward, eyes lit with something dangerous. "I think it's time you learned the truth about our family. About her. About what really happened before she died." My blood turned to ice. And in that moment, I realized something chilling. Trey didn't come back for forgiveness. He came back with unfinished business, and I just let it walk through my front door. I didn't sleep that night. Not really. After Trey went to bed, if you could even call that folding cot in the laundry room a bed, I sat at the kitchen table with a lukewarm cup of chicory coffee, staring out into the dark. The old cypress trees swayed in the breeze, whispering secrets like they used to when we were kids, and just like that, the memories came back, soft at first, like fog rolling off the bayou. Then sharper. Harder. I remembered the last night he was home. It was late, later than it should have been. I'd fallen asleep on the couch, still in my graduation dress. Mama was in her room with the door closed, and Daddy was already buried by then, cancer having chewed him up in less than a year. Our house didn't feel like a home anymore. It felt like a waiting room. That night, I woke up to the sound of the back door slamming. I looked out the window and saw Trey tossing bags into Daddy's old Chevy. No goodbye. No note. Just the red taillights disappearing down the gravel road. He didn't even look back. Mama never explained it. She just tightened her lips and said, "Trey made his choice." And that was that. No tears. No yelling. Like she'd been expecting it all along. What haunted me wasn't that he left. it was what he left behind, the money Mama had scraped together for Daddy's treatments. Gone. Her wedding ring? Missing. Trey had gutted us before vanishing into the night, and Mama let him go like she owed him something. After that, the silence in our house got loud. Mama started sleeping with the porch light on. Started locking her bedroom door. Sometimes I'd find her on the back steps, smoking a cigarette with shaking hands. She'd whisper things under her breath, names I didn't recognize. And once, just once, I heard her say, "Forgive me, Lord." I had no choice. I asked her what she meant. She said nothing, but that haunted look in her eyes, that stayed with me longer than any words ever could. Now Trey was back, like a ghost kicked up from the muddy waters of the past. And he had the nerve to talk about truth. Truth about Mama. About our family. It was laughable, it was infuriating, but most of all, it was terrifying, because deep down, I knew he wasn't bluffing. He had something. Knew something. And Mama. She died with secrets on her tongue. As the sun broke over the bayou, I looked at the duffel bag Trey left by the door. Still zipped. Still untouched, but something told me whatever was in there didn't belong in this house. Ghosts don't knock on your door for peace. They come back to drag you into their unfinished hell. The first call came just after midnight. My cell buzzed on the nightstand, jolting me from a shallow, dreamless sleep. I blinked at the screen, unknown number, and let it ring. Then it came again. And again, on the fourth call, I answered, nothing but silence, not the accidental kind either. This was the heavy, deliberate kind. Like someone was listening for something. Hello? I whispered, still nothing. Then, just as I was about to hang up, I heard it. A faint, raspy breath. And then a whisper, "He's lying to you." Click, I sat frozen, phone clutched in my hand, every hair on my neck standing straight up. I stared at the shadows moving across my bedroom ceiling like they had teeth. By morning, Trey was already outside, pacing the backyard with that dented thermos clutched like a lifeline. He jumped when I opened the door. "Damn, Cal," he said, hand on his chest. "Don't sneak up on people like that. You didn't hear the phone ring last night?" He shook his head too quickly. "Nope. Slept like a baby." A lie. He had bags under his eyes deep enough to carry the gulf. His jaw twitched when I mentioned the call. I knew that twitch. It meant he was hiding something. Later that day, I caught him checking the locks. Not once. Over and over. Back door, front door, even the latch on the old pantry, like someone might crawl through the cereal boxes to get him. He kept looking out the window, too. The same one that faced the road, peeking out through the blinds like we were under siege. "Trey," I said, finally cornering him in the kitchen. "What's going on? And don't give me any nothing to worry about crap. Someone called me last night. Said you were lying to me." He didn't answer at first. Just tapped his fingers on the countertop. Then he looked up and said, "I told you I made enemies. Some of them. They don't forget. They think I know something I shouldn't. Stuff that got people hurt. Or worse." "What kind of stuff?" He hesitated. "The kind that puts folks in the ground." That night, I found the duffel bag unzipped. I hadn't touched it, but someone had. A manila folder was sticking out now, just barely. I pulled it free. Inside were photos. Documents. Old mugshots. One face repeated several times, an older man, pale eyes, long scar on his temple. Scrawled on the back of the last photo in Trey's handwriting were the words, "He's not dead." My stomach turned. Whatever Trey had brought with him, it wasn't just paranoia. It was real. And it was dangerous, and I was starting to think that the brother I let back in wasn't just hiding from someone, he was hiding something of his own. I couldn't shake it, that nameless dread that crept in with Trey and settled into the walls like mold. He said people were after him. That someone was watching. But the way he spoke, like every sentence was half truth and half test, made it clear, there was more he wasn't telling me. That night, after he fell asleep on the laundry room cot, I slipped into my bedroom and pulled out the key Mama gave me on her deathbed. "Don't open it unless you have to," she had whispered, her voice thin like paper. "You'll know when it's time." I think she knew Trey would come back someday, and she knew what he'd bring with him. The next morning, I drove to the small bank in town. Miss Laverne, the same teller who gave me lollipops as a kid, squinted at the box number, then gave me a long, worried look. I didn't offer an explanation, and she didn't ask. The safety deposit box was heavier than I expected. Inside, neatly stacked and yellowing with time, were letters, newspaper clippings, and a thick black envelope with my name written in Mama's script. I sat in the corner of the vault, opened it, and read, "Callie. If you're reading this, then Trey's back. And that means the past has finally caught up to us. There are things I never told you. Things I had to keep buried to keep you safe. Trey didn't just leave, he was involved in something terrible. Something that got people killed. He made a deal with a man named Dean Sorrell, a name you'll see more than once in these papers. A man your daddy once warned me about. When Trey got scared, he ran. But not before taking something that didn't belong to him. Something they still want." I told him never to come back. I begged him not to drag you into this, but I knew one day, he might. Be careful who you trust, even family. Especially family. Mama, my hands trembled as I sorted through the clippings. One was from Baton Rouge, dated 2006, drug informant found dead outside motel. No arrests. The photo was grainy, but I recognized the man with the scar on his temple. Same one in Trey's folder. Same eyes staring dead into the camera, Dean Sorrell. Another article was about a missing shipment, unmarked cash tied to a federal case that went cold. The third was a hand-drawn map with our town circled, and a note beside it, the brothers hiding it. The girl might know. The girl, me. I left the bank with the papers tucked under my coat and bile burning in my throat. Mama hadn't been protecting Trey, she'd been protecting me. From him, from his sins, and from the people he'd crossed. And now, because I opened that door, they might be coming back to collect. I spread the documents out on the kitchen table like puzzle pieces, each one stained with time and secrets. My hands shook as I laid the grainy motel photo next to Mama's letter. I'd seen that scarred face before, Dean Sorrell, dead in a cheap Baton Rouge motel 15 years ago. But it wasn't just his face that chilled me. It was the second figure in the background, blurry. Half-shadowed. But unmistakable, Trey. He wasn't just near the scene. He was in the picture. Standing behind Dean, leaning against a rusted-out car, wearing that same cocky smirk he used to flash at Mama when she scolded him. It wasn't a photo he meant to keep, it was evidence. Proof, and he'd hidden it. "Trey," I called, folding the photo and sliding it into my pocket. "Come here." He stepped into the kitchen slowly, rubbing his face like he hadn't slept, probably hadn't. "What's up?" I didn't waste time. I dropped the newspaper clipping and pointed at the man in the image. "That's Dean Sorrell, right?" His eyes flicked down. Just for a second. Then back to me. "Yeah. That's him. You said he wasn't a threat anymore. That you ran. That you got out." "I did," he said, a little too quickly. "Then why are you in the damn photo?" He stared at it again, jaw tightening. The room felt colder, like the air had shifted between us. "I didn't kill him, Cal," he said. "I swear on Mama's grave. That doesn't mean you weren't involved." He sat down slowly, like the weight of the years had finally caught up with him. "I was just supposed to move the cash. Keep it safe till the deal was done. But Dean. He got greedy. Started cutting folks out. He killed one of his own crew over a rumor. That's when I panicked. I folded my arms. So you ran?" "Yeah. I took the money and got the hell out." "And Mama covered for you?" "She didn't know everything," he said. "But she knew enough. She told me never to come back. Said she'd handle it if they came sniffing around." "And did they?" He didn't answer. Just looked toward the window again, toward the dark stretch of woods beyond the fence. That silence told me everything. This wasn't just about guilt anymore. It wasn't even about money. This was blood deep. Old sins that had clawed their way out of the past, following Trey all the way back here, and now, because I knew the truth, I was caught in it too. I thought about Mama's letter. About her warning, be careful who you trust, even family. Especially family. I used to think that was just about Trey's recklessness, but maybe it meant something more. Maybe it meant that someone else had been lying, too, because Dean Sorrell was supposed to be dead, and if Trey was telling the truth, then the man in the photo, the one with the scar and the dead eyes, might still be out there, watching. Waiting, and he might think I have what he's looking for. Trey didn't say much the rest of the day. He just paced the living room like a caged animal, occasionally peeking through the blinds as if he expected someone to burst through the trees with a rifle and unfinished business. By sundown, I couldn't take the silence anymore. You owe me the whole story, I said. No more fragments. No more half-truths. He didn't look at me right away. Just stared at the floor, like the answers were buried somewhere in the cracked tiles Mama never got around to replacing. Then he walked over, sat at the edge of the couch, and let out a slow, tired breath. All right, he said. You want the truth? Here it is. 15 years ago, Trey got involved with Dean Sorrell after Daddy died. Said he needed money. Said he was angry that Mama worked herself to the bone while our family sank into debt, that no one gave a damn about some grieving kids on the edge of the bayou. Dean offered a way out. A drug run here, a cash drop there. Nothing violent, just logistics, Trey said. At first, then came the bigger jobs. Ones that couldn't be done clean. Trey moved money, picked up packages, delivered coded messages. And one day, he saw something he wasn't supposed to see, Dean killing a man over a rumor. Not a deal gone wrong. Just paranoia. I wanted out, Trey whispered. But there's no walking away from men like him. So I took something. Cash, yes, but also a file. Names, numbers, blackmail material Dean kept to control his own crew. He looked at me, eyes hollow, and I ran. I felt sick. That folder, the one in your bag. That's what they're after? He nodded. What's left of it, yeah. I destroyed most of it years ago. But there's one piece left, one that could put some powerful people in prison. Why bring it here? Because, he said, leaning closer, I'm done running. Dean's still alive. I've seen him, just once. Baton Rouge, last year. Scar and all. They faked the death report to keep him hidden. And now, he's rebuilding. Quietly. But he knows I still have the key to burying him for good. He smiled then. Not the warm kind. The kind that sent a chill down my spine. I'm going to finish it, Cal. I'm going to take him down. And you, no, I said sharply. Don't you drag me into this. You're already in it, he said. They know who you are. They know where you live. You think that call you got was random? My stomach twisted. So what? You think we just go after him? Like some backwoods vigilantes? I'm not asking for your blessing, he said. I'm asking for your help. And I realized right then, Trey didn't come back for forgiveness. He came back for war, and whether I liked it or not, I was standing on the battlefield. I didn't sleep after Trey's confession. How could I? Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Mama whispering on the porch, saw Trey's face in that photo, and saw the dead man's cold eyes staring back at me like he wasn't done with us yet. By sunrise, I made a decision. I couldn't carry this alone, so I drove out to the sheriff's station, small, plain, and a little rundown like most things in our part of Louisiana. Sheriff DuPont had known our family since before I could walk. He was there when Daddy died. He was the one who told Mama, after Trey disappeared, that some kids don't come back whole, if they come back at all. I figured if anyone could help, it was him. Sheriff DuPont was sitting at his desk, sipping weak coffee and reading the Thibodeau Gazette like the world outside his office didn't carry bodies and secrets. He looked up as I walked in. Callie Landry, he said with a half-smile. Ain't seen you since the church fish fry last summer. Everything all right? No, I said, sitting across from him. Trey's back. His face dropped. He in trouble? Worse, I said, sliding the photo and clippings across his desk. I think he brought it with him. DuPont stared at the picture, the motel, the blurred image of Dean Sorrell, the unmistakable outline of Trey in the background. He didn't flinch. Didn't blink. He just sighed and leaned back in his chair. Where'd you get this? Mama left it. She knew something. He rubbed his jaw, then slowly slid the photo back toward me. You need to let this go, Callie. I stared at him. What? Whatever Trey's mixed up in, it's not for you to fix. Sorrell's been dead 15 years, and there's no appetite to dig up that case again. Too many holes. Too many hands dirted along the way. You know he's still alive. DuPont looked me in the eye. I know the system, Callie. And I know what happens when you poke the wrong ghosts. That's when I realized something I hadn't wanted to believe. DuPont wasn't just afraid, he was involved, maybe not directly. Maybe not with blood on his hands. But he knew things. Had known for years. About Dean. About the cover-up. About Trey. Mama trusted you, I said quietly. He winced. She trusted a lot of people, he replied. Didn't mean they deserved it. I stood up. My voice was steady now. If you won't help, then get out of my way. Because this storm's already at my door. And I'm not just going to sit here waiting for it to swallow me whole. He didn't stop me as I walked out, but I felt his silence chasing me down the hall. Outside, the sky was turning dark even though it wasn't yet noon. A storm was coming, for all of us, but if no one else was willing to stand between my family and what was coming, then I'd do it myself. When I got home from the sheriff's station, the first thing I noticed was the silence, the kind that wasn't peaceful, but hollow. Heavy. Wrong. Trey's cot in the laundry room was empty. The blanket, still rumpled. His thermos, always glued to his hand, was gone. So was the duffel bag, and so was my car. At first, I just stood there in the hallway, not moving. Not thinking. Then the panic rose in my chest like bile. I ran to my room. My desk drawer had been forced open. Mama's envelope, the original one with the key to the safety deposit box, was missing, and so was the folder I'd hidden under my mattress the night before. He took everything. I should have seen it coming. He had been unraveling for days, pacing like a man in a burning house, waiting for the roof to cave in. That speech about revenge, about bringing Dean down, it was just a performance. A smoke screen. He didn't want justice. He wanted leverage. I found the note taped to the fridge. Sorry, Cal. You'll understand someday. I didn't have a choice. Some debts don't stay buried. Keep your head down, and maybe this won't touch you. Maybe. Trey, it wasn't even signed with love, just a warning, a threat. I sat down at the kitchen table, the same one Mama used to serve red beans and rice on Sundays, the same one where Trey had laughed a few nights ago like we were still family. Now it felt like the center of a crime scene. I picked up my phone and tried to call him. Straight to voicemail. Again. Again. Again, blocked. Then the unknown number rang. I didn't answer this time. I just let it ring until the screen went black again. I thought about Mama. About how tired she had looked in her final days, not just from grief or illness, but from the weight of all the things she'd kept from me. She must have known Trey would never outrun what he'd done. That eventually, he'd drag it all back home, but I think she hoped I'd be stronger than she was. And right now, I wasn't sure I was. I locked every door and window that night. Sat on the couch with Daddy's old shotgun across my lap. The house creaked like it was breathing. Every gust of wind against the siding made me flinch. Trey wasn't just running anymore, he was baiting something. Or someone. And he left me standing in the blast zone. Whatever was coming wasn't going to knock, it was going to break the door down, and next time, I wouldn't be opening it. The shotgun sat across my lap like a promise I never thought I'd have to keep. It used to belong to Daddy. He'd only ever used it to scare off raccoons and the occasional drunk who wandered too close to the porch. But tonight, it wasn't for animals, it was for Trey, because now I knew the truth, and the truth didn't come with forgiveness. After he vanished, I spent days trying to retrace his steps. The gas station clerk down by Highway 1 said he saw Trey speeding toward the interstate like his hair was on fire. A motel manager in Baton Rouge called me Mrs. Landry when I asked about a room under my name. Trey had used my ID, apparently. And everywhere I looked, the message was the same: Trey was running, but not from them, he was running with something, that folder. That final piece of leverage. He never planned to bring Dean down. He planned to trade with him. Bargain for safety. Maybe even cash. Who knows? Maybe the devil pays well these days. By the third day, another note arrived. No return address. Just a crumpled envelope on my porch, weighted with a bolt. Inside, Trey's handwriting. Still not too late to disappear. Cal, burn it all. Start over. You were never supposed to be part of this. Don't make me choose. No apology. Just a warning. That's when something inside me snapped. I stopped thinking like a sister, and started thinking like a survivor. I called Sheriff DuPont, again. Told him everything. He didn't answer, but someone from his office came by that evening. Quiet. Nervous. Said DuPont had taken personal leave. Disappeared, just like Trey. That's when I realized how far this went. Dean's reach wasn't just street deep. It stretched through uniforms, through offices, through family trees. And Trey was banking on that rot to keep him safe, but I wasn't rotting. Not yet. I boarded the windows. Bought new locks. Kept the shotgun cleaned and loaded. Every time a truck passed down the gravel road, I stood at the window. Watching. Waiting, not with fear anymore, with fire, because if Trey came back, if he stepped one foot on this porch again, I wasn't going to greet him with tears or questions or a second chance. I was going to remind him of something Mama always said: blood makes you family. But love makes you stay. And if you break both, you better be ready to bleed for it. I loved my brother once, but that love didn't survive the lies. The theft. The betrayal. And if he ever comes back through that door again, I won't hesitate, because I've learned something Mama knew all too well. Family can hurt you deeper than any enemy, but that doesn't mean you have to let them, not anymore. Not ever again. If this story gripped you from start to finish, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Drop a comment below. What would you do if your own brother dragged danger to your doorstep? And if you want more emotional thrillers, dark family secrets, and chilling true-style narrations, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. New stories every week. Don't miss what's coming next.